All right, with the uncertainty in the job market, millions of people are upgrading their skills by going back to vocational schools, community colleges, or even universities. So every week we focus on ways to get a jump start in the workforce. In today's Reclaim Your Career, we're asking the question, when is it worth going back to school? Valerie Burton is the author of Where Will You Go From Here? So Valerie, many people, young and old, want to go back to school, but in this economy, they're a little nervous about can I afford it?
Right.
And really, can I afford the time? So how do you kind of strike a balance and make a clear decision about whether it's the right thing for you?
Well, you want to be really strategic about it. A lot of people just go back to school kind of aimlessly and expecting that they're going to make more money or they're going to have more opportunities. And so you want to be very intentional about choosing to go back to school. And one of the first ways you know that you're ready is that you understand how you're going to pay for it.
Yes.
That's a really big one. If it's at all possible, to pay as you go, or you're able to find grants or scholarships or tuition assistance programs with your employer, that's really, really smart. But if you're going to take out loans, you want to ask, how much am I going to take out? How much are those payments going to be when I'm finished?
Oh, right, because in-state, on average, in-state college tuition costs over $700 per class. So it's not cheap.
It's not cheap at all, and that's in-state. And a lot of people are opting to go to private universities. And so, you're talking 2, 3, 4 times higher.
Okay, so you're lucky if your employer will help supplement.
Absolutely.
But that seems probably not the more commonplace, scenario. So a lot of folks are trying to figure out, okay, do I stop working, go back to school, take out a loan, all that good stuff, or do I figure out how do I straddle both work and school?
And that's where the time comes in.
Yeah.
So that's one of the other things you want to look at. Do I have the time to do this? And I think there's no better time in history to be going back to school and need a flexible schedule than right now, because there are so many online programs or weekend and evening programs at major universities. I'm not just talking about online schools. So look at your universities in your own state, or if you...
So some programs are actually targeting the person who's working.
Absolutely. Most universities these days are targeting those. I even went back to school myself a few years ago, and it was a very flexible program. You also want to look at your family. Are they in support of you going back to school? Because sometimes you're going to need to tap into their help in order to manage your time.
Okay, we've asked a lot of people on Twitter and Facebook, about their sentiments. What do they think about the whole idea of going back to school, or what are the big obstacles? And Josie Bell says, did the college career change by going back to school last year? I think she's saying it changed for her, if we can understand that. But sometimes you have to assess whether it really will benefit you for your job.
That's right.
How do you do that?
So you want to talk to people who have already been where you're trying to go, where you think this degree or going back to school is going to take you. What do they say? Many of them will say, yes, absolutely, you need the education, but sometimes you need the experience, or there are other things they're going to tell you to do that are a whole lot cheaper and take a lot less time than going back to school. So you want to ask your employer, you want to ask people that have already been there and done that. Don't make assumptions that you need a particular field of education in order to accomplish your goal. Make sure you know that for certain before you spend the money and the time.
Yeah, okay, thanks. It's a huge investment.
It's a big
so you
investment.
definitely want to have that plan.
Yep.
All right, Valerie Burton, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Fred. Good being with you.